Hello, this is chapter 10, video number 4. Last week, what we did was we learned about how to create a statistical test for proportions. And just like we did with confidence intervals, first week we did proportions, second week we did means. Now, the general process is the same. We're still going to write hypotheses, and then we are going to gather our test statistic and then come up with a p-value. But there are a few small changes in between proportions and means. So let's go ahead and get started. So this problem, we have some data from 2001, and in 2001, the mean household expenditure for energy was right at 1,493 per year, and that was all the way back in 2001. All right, now in a random sample of 35 households, an economist found that the mean expenditure, assuming that this is adjusted for inflation, is now all the way up to $1,618 per year with a standard deviation of $321. Is this enough evidence to say that people are spending more on insurance or spending more on energy? So right here, we were kind of right around $1,500. Now we're a little bit over $1,600. Yes, this number is bigger. I know that that's kind of a silly question, but is it big enough to say that yes, for sure, even with the standard deviation, for sure, this is statistically significant? So let's talk about our parameter here. Hello. All right, our general parameter here is we are talking about the mean household energy expenditure. So we're looking at the mean household energy expenditure. Now, here is our statistic. What we got for a test statistic is $1,618 in our sample. Now, let's go ahead and talk about hypotheses. I'm going to go ahead and write this down here so we can see this a little bit better. So we need to come up with two hypotheses, one a null hypothesis and then an alternate hypothesis. Well, our null is always going to be that, you know what, this mean hasn't changed. This mean is the exact same as it was in 2001. So our mean is equal to $1,493. And that is our null hypothesis that, hey, the mean hasn't changed, we're still stuck there. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about our alternate hypothesis. So for our alternate hypothesis, we have a mean, and our gut instinct is that this mean has increased. We have increased from $1,493. Awesome. Now, significance level, I'm going to go ahead and set my alpha at 5%. Pretend that is an alpha. I'm going to go ahead and set this at 5% significant. So if our p-value is lower than 5%, then we're going to go ahead and say, you know what? Yeah, that is statistically significant. It has increased. However, if it's bigger than 5%, maybe we just took a sample where it didn't really, maybe it was just the sample that we took. So we are centering this about what we are expecting. We are expecting $1,493. All right, now since this is a mean, our standard deviation equation, our standard deviation is going to be, well, what did we get for the sample? Our sample was $321. So $321. And then don't forget that we are dividing this by the square root of the sample size. So the square root of the sample size, which is 35. All right, and if I were to look at this, 321 divided by square root of 35, our standard deviation is right around $54.26. So we are right around $52 and 45? No, not grades. $54.25. 54.25. All right, sorry about that. All right, now that we have kind of our setup, we can go ahead and start to look for our p-value. For our sample, we ended up with $1,618 per year. So we ended up at $1,618. And for our p-value, since this is a greater than, we are looking for what are the odds of us getting $1,618 or above. All right, so here we go. Now, one big thing that I want to caution you about, remember, this is a mean. This is not a normal distribution. We are actually approximating this by a t-distribution. Remember, with means, we are not using a normal distribution, we're using a t-distribution. Now, degrees of freedom, don't forget that is our sample size minus 1. So if our sample size is 35, our sample size is 35, that means for degrees of freedom, we have 34. All right, now, I really wish that we could just type in, what was our number? 1618. I really wish that we could just type in 1618 here and then go towards infinity, but that's unfortunately not how this program works. We actually have to find our t-score. So let me go ahead and refresh you guys how to find a t-score. A t-score is just a fancy way of saying how many standard deviations above are we. So here is how we calculate this. Here's how we calculate our t-score. We are going to do, we are at $1,618. We were expected to be at $14.93. And then finally, we're dividing by our standard deviation. We're dividing by $54.25. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. So we were at 1618 minus, we were expected to be at 1493. And then if you want to be fancy, you can go ahead and do type in your full equation here. I'm just going to use the 5425. 5425. And this gave us a t-score. This tells me that I am 2.3 standard deviations away. This means I am 2.3 standard deviations away from the mean. So this is my t-score. This is what I can go ahead and type in here. So I am 2.3 standard deviations and above, and sure enough, if I look at that, oh, I guess it's not going to highlight it for me, I have a p-value of 0.014, 0.014. So what does this mean? This means that our probability is only 0.014% chance that we were to get something like this. So is this statistically significant? Yeah, this is very, very rare in order to do this. So we have enough information to say, you know what? We can reject our null hypothesis and agree that, yeah, you know what? This is far enough away, this is rare enough that it is statistically significant. So let's go ahead and write our conclusion. All right, it's because the p-value is lower than 0.05. There is enough evidence to say that the mean amounts of money spent on energy has increased. This was not a coincidence. This was less than 5%. This is enough information. This is rare enough to say, yeah, there is enough evidence to say that this mean has increased. It wasn't just a fluke. So this was our first example. I'm going to do one more example direct from my math lab in the next video, but this is our last piece of information. Please let me know if you have any questions.